Hey guys, I am Victoria's Mom's Dish and this is
Bernard Jensen with Zwilling.
we are going to show you, or Bernard's going to show you how to chop up some of the veggies that you use every day in your kitchen.
Let's start with the basic knife skills, some celery. Remove the end. I want to spend some time on the basics. I always create a flat surface like this. So first, the circular rocking motion with a German styled knife that comes with a curve in the tip supporting the rocking motion. The tip is always down, handle starts up. You're going to drop your blade, you're going to push it forward. So I'm going to cut on the forwards motion on the push. You're going to lift it up there, you're going to move it back and drop it again. We want to use the back end of our knife, so that's where your produce should be. Shouldn't be at the tip.
Oh.
This way I also have a lot of control over thickness. I can actually feel what I'm doing. If I'm holding my celery stick up here, I need my eyes and I need to go way slower if I want to work precise.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's the circular rocking motion using a German style chef's knife. And now let's try if you move produce on your cutting board. Use the spine side, right? Not the sharp edge. So our Santoku, 7-inch wide handle. In this motion, the chopping motion, the tip is not on your cutting board anymore. The tip is in the air. We're still using the back part of your blade for cutting, and I still want to make a downwards but also slightly forwards motion. That means that I'm going to use a longer part of my blade. Sure, this is a sharp knife, it's soft celery, I can also just drop it straight down. But I've been using like a 1/4 inch of a 7-inch knife. If I move my blade forwards, I at least doubled the used length of my blade, sometimes even tripled. And if you use a longer part of a knife, cutting becomes easier. Think in a saw, you can't push the saw through a piece of wood. Once you start using length, you're getting to a result.
That makes
Same
sense.
thing with any knife skills. Using a longer part of that blade makes it easier.
But what about your favorite knife?
Thank you. So I call this our Rocking Santoku, the hybrid knife. You can place it in between these. It has the best of both worlds, an in-between shape, really supporting the rocking motion and the chopping motion. But most important, it comes with a sharper 20-degree angle.
Okay.
And for this knife, it's really easy to either rock or chop.
Just dancing around.
And sure, it's super easy to chop with a German chef's knife. It's getting a little harder to rock with a straight blade, and that's why I really like the Rocking Santoku, because it's supporting both motions.
How to cut an onion? Show me.
So let me show you the most efficient way. Many people, when they start prepping onions, they remove both ends, the tip and the root side, right? You should always keep the root side on. That's going to keep the onion together. So what I do, I tend to use a little part of the tip. Why? Again, to create that flat surface. Now I'm going to halve the onion through the root. There you go. Now I'm quickly going to switch to my paring knife, handheld work. I'm going to get underneath the skin right here. I'm going to put my thumb on the skin and I'm just going to pull the skin off. This time we're going to use the tip of my knife. I'm going to get it in on like a 45-degree angle. I don't want to drop my blade down because my blade is thicker here than it is on the edge. If my knife does this, your onion tends to do that.
Yes.
Right? And the whole challenge is to keep it compact as long as possible. So get it in, pull it out.
Oh.
Stay away like a 1/2 inch of the root, because if I would create planks, then I need my left hand to keep those planks together. The root should do that job. The closer you make these vertical cuts, the finer your dice will end up.
We're about to cry.
I'm not crying because I'm using a sharp knife.
So that's a tip, not crying.
Correct. Now we're going to make 2 horizontal cuts. Always start your highest cut, so your upper cut. Because if you start close to your cutting board, the only thing your knife can do is angle like this, and that means that you're going to push the layers up towards the ceiling. If I start here, I'm going to push my onion on my cutting board. And again, use length of your blade. 2 horizontal cuts. And now we're just going to start either chopping or rocking and making a fine dice.
That's amazing. So you have called me out for cutting the bell pepper wrong. Show me how to do it.
So the way I do it, I like to use our 5.5-inch prep knife for that. I'm gonna remove both ends, 1, and then the other side, 2.
Okay.
Sure, I can chop off this as well, but now I'm gonna get in like this
Go all around.
and call it around. So I get rid of the seeds, the white parts, which again are the bitter parts, and now I can either cut like julienne.
That's perfect for stir fry.
Correct. Or if I need small cubes for a salsa.
I think a lot of people struggle with
Garlic.
garlic.
Correct.
What do we do? Tell me how it's done.
So first question is slicing or mincing. Some recipes ask for sliced garlic, other recipes for minced garlic.
First, so how do you peel it?
So if you peel it, if you really need to peel it because you want to slice and keep that glove whole, then you just use a paring knife to peel it.
Okay.
If you want to mince it, and this is a trick a lot of people know and are familiar with, you remove the root side. There we go. And you take your blade, you're going to smash it, and that means that you're going to remove the peel just in one motion. That also means that you already broke up the structure of your garlic. I tend to run it once in the circular motion like this. And now I'm actually going to mince. And a lot of videos on YouTube will tell you to mince like this. Place your hand on the spine and start mincing like this. I don't like it because these 4 fingers are basically covering my garlic. So I tend to hold the tip with my thumb, pointing finger, index finger. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to place the tip on 9 o'clock. So 12, 3, 6, 9 o'clock. I'm going to keep it there, and I'm going to mince like this.
I definitely make that mistake. I cover it.
Yeah. So now I can actually see what I'm doing. It's important to keep the tip on 9 o'clock, because if your tip is moving, you're going to notice that your body is going to follow the tip. So if your tip is going to move to 12, you're going to end up being like this behind your cutting board. That's why you want to keep it on 9 and just move the handle while mincing like this.
Apparently there's an avocado cut at the hospital.
Correct.
Show us how to prevent that.
So first of all, don't use a big knife, right? Go for either a 4-inch paring knife or a 5.5-inch prep knife. You're going to get your knife in like this until you feel the pit, and then you're going to move it around.
Okay.
And then you're going to remove both ends.
Oh, that's a perfect avocado.
And what a lot of people now do is they
I do it sometimes.
They hit their knife into that pit. First of all, it's going to dull the edge of your blade, but this is also where it goes wrong. They slip, they cut themselves. There's an easy way to just go around and make one more cut and get rid of the pit like this. And now I can either take a spoon or use your fingers if it's ripe enough to remove the
And this is
skin.
how you can do those, you know, avocado toast? How people do this puree slices? You can make puree slices for avocado toast like this.
Yeah, you can.
That easy, so don't injure yourself, friends. Okay, so I used to work at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
So I'm very passionate about how you cut tomatoes.
I feel I'm going to learn something.
I want to see how you cut a tomato, but you might, like, I feel like most people cut it right, but the moment I see somebody cutting it incorrectly, just like, I have a pet peeve about it. So do it. Show me how you
Pressure. There's a lot of pressure right now.
You're the Michelin chef, star chef.
So I like to use a serrated blade, especially with riper tomatoes.
Yes.
Because if you're going to apply a lot of downward pressure, you're going to remove the juices, right?
Correct.
You're going to press out the juices. The question is, what result do you want to end up? Do you want to get slices? Do you want to get dices?
Let's do just a salad, slices. How would you
Slices.
How would you slice it for a salad?
So I would start at this end, use the full length of my blade.
Oh no.
Cut!
Keep going. Actually, it's not bad. Wait. Oh, interesting.
So that's a slice.
Okay, what about half slice? What if you were doing half slice? Would you cut the tomato in half first?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's making it savor again. Because then I'm going to remove that core.
Okay. What about for salsa? Would you cut it? Would you cut this sideways?
Slices.
Uh-huh.
You mean cubes?
Cubes, yes.
With or without seeds?
Wait, with seeds.
So again, I want to get rid of this part. There we go.
So this would be great for salsas. Wait, what's happening?
Now I actually need my...
I said with seeds. You got rid of seeds.
And now I can cube it.
So you wouldn't keep that for salsa?
No, I would just put this in.
Very interesting.
How do you cut a tomato?
So at first,
there you go.
No, but at first, when you started cutting this one, I assumed that you were cutting it like this. Have you ever seen people cut tomatoes this way? Not like, so what I like
So
about...
I actually did it the right way.
You did it the right way. You shocked me. You actually scared me for a second because I assumed that you were cutting it the other way.
No.
My biggest pet peeve is when the seeds come out. What I love about this like half slice, the seeds are staying intact right here. And when I see people cut it the other way, I'm gonna just ruin this tomato. Wow, this knife is amazing. So when people cut it this way, all of the seeds just dump out. Like this is not the right way of cutting tomato, right? Are we on the same
so
page?
happy that I just did it. I didn't even think about it, but... Yeah.
But would you cut it ever like this?
No.
Okay,
No.
unless you're doing that.
So without even asking me, I did it the way you
Yes,
expected
you were in
me
my
to
brain.
do it, right?
Yes. Gosh, this knife though, it's so smooth and so perfect. Yes, never cut a tomato like this because the seeds will just dump right out. Where in this one, they kind of hold in the center.
I get it. So Natalia, some recipes ask for a peeled tomato, right?
Well, that's next level. You do it.
So often...
Peeled, like the skin, the outside?
So yeah, skin it, take the skin off. Because some recipes, if you don't use a power blender, the skin doesn't break down. You can also always taste that sort of the texture of the skin. And that's why there's recipes that tell you,
blench it.
To cut across, drop it in boiling water, take a ladle, take it out, drop it in ice water, take a paring knife and peel it, right?
Yes, and you don't like that? It's too many steps?
So if I only have to do a few tomatoes, I think it's like, you know, you need to pot, wait for the boiling water. So I tend to take my serrated blade to cut it in smaller wedges. And then I'm going back to my flexible fish fillet knife.
We need to get that close on camera.
And I'm gonna hold the wedge like this. I'm gonna place my knife in front of it. I'm gonna angle it for a second so I get it in and out. The only thing I wanna do is apply downwards pressure. And let's see if we can do a little bit better. Look.
Can you do that with a normal knife? With like a normal knife?
No, you need a thin, sharp, flexible blade for this.
Yes.
So now I can easily remove the skin and use all the other parts.
Guys, mic drop. This is where we end. Okay, where can people find you? All of this magic that you've been showing us, where can people find you?
So I'm located in Pleasantville, New York. That's where Zwilling's headquarters is located. I also have my test kitchen out there, my cooking studio. You can join us for
in person,
all fully hands-on classes. Either small classes where there's a lot of learning, a little bit of fun, or you join us for your corporate events, your team building, your outings, and then the group goes up to like 45 people, and that's more fun, less learning. Okay. But always hands-on cooking.
Okay, but like if they just want to find you on social media?
Zwilling Chef.
Zwilling Chef. He's the Zwilling Chef.
Zwilling Chef. Easy.
So yeah, you'll also see him sometimes on Zwilling USA Instagram page too.
Correct. They use my videos as well.
Yep. So he's the Zwilling Chef. We have the pro here. Thanks for coming. This was fun.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
We had a good time.
Yeah.